Namaste, listeners.
Namaste, Mr. Claywell.
Namaste, Mr. Ham.
So how are you, sir?
I am doing really good. Why don't you tell us what we just heard?
Well, we just heard a Tibetan singing bowl. These are little brass, copper-looking little bowls that have a little striking, I guess you would say, I don't know, it's a little stick, a mallet that you hit the top of it with, and you run it around the top, and it sings. It creates this vibration, and it's a tool that's used in meditation. And it's very pleasing.
It does sound really nice. It may come across a bit harsh on the microphones, but in person, it sounds very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason we started this off with a Tibetan singing bowl, first and foremost, before we go any further, I want to thank you, Mr. Claywell, for turning me on to Calm.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Amazing app that is out there. Not only am I using it, but now my wife and her family and my daughter is using it. It is absolutely one of the most useful little tools I have found in a long time, and I have to thank you for that, because I would have never even looked at it hardly other than just, in passing, whenever it's on the television or something, they have the little, do nothing for the next 30 seconds, little rain thing or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of cool, but we are now using it daily. It is
awesome.
Awesome.
I have been, like I mentioned on the last episode, like one of my focus for this year is to try to learn to meditate, to be more mindful, to be more present. I have a pretty active mind that likes to roam on me, and it's sometimes hard for me to focus. I've been having a hard time focusing on the podcast that we're going to talk about in a minute. It's been lately it's been very difficult for me. So this is actually coming quite handy for me to do this. But yeah, I had this subscription to Calm, and yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, because I have found it pretty helpful for myself. The older daughter and the wife maybe don't necessarily seem to think too highly of it. I was hoping that maybe they could get some benefit from it. I don't think they are, but I found it to be quite useful. And if you like it, then that's worth.
It's awesome. Myself, like I said, I've started using it myself, doing the daily calms, the little 10-minute meditation sessions. Right. I started that with 3 or 4 times myself, and then I was told my wife, I was like, hey, you should try this, and I was like, here, we'll do this together. So we just kind of sat there and listened to it, and she was like, this is pretty awesome. And of course, by the time this was right before bed, so before we were able to get through the 10 minutes, my daughter was asleep. So we were like, this is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
so yeah. And Penelope loves the bedtime stories. They're they're nice, 30 minutes, 35 minutes long. There's one that was nifty. Have you listened to that one? The little ghost?
No, I haven't. The only bedtime story I listened to was a voice actor. I think I mentioned it last time. He does some voice work on one of the video games I play.
Yeah.
And he read one that's called the train.
Oh,
some
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
train. I don't remember the title of it offhand, but that's the only one I've listened to.
Yep. Yeah. Listen to Nifty. If nothing, just you sit down and listen to it if you want to.
Okay.
Because the story itself is phenomenally awesome. It's a little ghost, and he's hiding in, around the tombstones at the very beginning of it. And the little girl makes her way into the graveyard on Halloween, and she gets to see him. She sees him because it's on Halloween, and it was so amazing. It's really, really, really good. So, yeah, thank you for like I say, that was above and beyond anything that I could have ever you got me an amazing planner for Christmas. I love it. Yeah, and then the Squatch stuff smells so good. But Calm has been something that has been life changing.
Oh wow.
So it's awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. That's awesome.
Good deal.
Yeah. So since we've been seeming to hit all of them here lately, since the last episode, Valentine's Day came through. Did you guys have a big romancy candlelit rose petal?
No, not really. No, I did fix dinner. I did like an Alfredo, like a seafood Alfredo. I made some scampi on the side and stuff like that. Nice salad, and basically just kind of hung out. There's a tradition that my wife started years ago, and it's become a tradition, I should say. The first couple of years, it was kind of a novelty thing, but she finds these Valentine's cards that are like huge. And when I say huge, they're like, if you were to get one of the big poster boards and fold it in half.
Oh, I think I've seen some of those.
Yeah, they're like monstrous, right? So she gets one of those every year. And then, of course, since Penelope's come along, she and Penelope both are now riding in it. So the last few have been really awesome because it's both, my wife and my daughter. So every year I get the giant card, and it's like I say, it's become a tradition. So that was very nice. And of course I got her, flowers, and she wanted chocolate covered strawberries. So I got her some of those. So
I like those. Yeah. We, much to the chagrin of my better half, we went on a surprise trip.
Yay.
Drove her bananas, not knowing all the details. But we went to 21C in Lexington, the little art museum hotel thing there.
I've heard good things about it. I've heard interesting things, I should say, that it's always changing, like the art stuff and all.
Yeah, it's a gallery. It's a gallery, so they have different exhibits set up off and on.
Cool.
Over time, they change everything out. The only thing I was really, I don't know, kind of let me down a little bit, I guess, is the food. So one of the deals for me was, they have like a nice restaurant in the building as well, and you can order from the restaurant and have the food sent up to your room as room service.
Oh yeah.
So I've never had room service in a hotel before, so that was a novelty. But, with the numbers spiking and the huge number of positive cases of COVID and everything going on recently, I thought, we're going up early. So we went up on a Friday. So, Valentine's Day wasn't until Monday.
Right.
So we were up early. There wasn't as many people there. We could go down to the gallery, I thought, and look around, and wouldn't be crowded probably. Especially if we waited till a little later in the evening. We could order the food to the room, so we didn't have to sit in the restaurant and be around people. But the food was just a slight bit disappointing because nowhere on the website did it say anything about an altered menu.
Yeah, Valentine's menu or Valentine's specific menu.
Yeah, then when we got there, they were running a special menu just for Valentine's.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I was going to get on the menu, because I previewed the menu to figure out what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was going to get a New York strip.
Right.
No steak.
What?
No steak on the Valentine's menu at all.
No,
None.
That's not cool.
Yeah. No steak whatsoever. So I was a little bit disappointed. Now, I will say, I, for myself, ordered, I think it was beef cheek ragu.
I've never heard of any of that before, but that sounds interesting.
Well, the only ragu I had ever heard of is the pasta sauce.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I don't really know how to describe it. It was pasta.
Okay.
And with a sauce that was more of like a beef gravy mushroom type of sauce.
Kind of a marsala type sauce then. Yeah. Okay.
Then like it wasn't cream based. It wasn't tomato based.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a lot of sauce. It was very lightly sauced. And then beef cheek meat on
tender.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that sounds
really
good.
Tender. It was really tasty. Mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
And they had that shaved, is that Romano cheese or oregano or Parmigiano Reggiano or whatever? I'm not Italian. But it's the stuff you get in the green bottle that you shake out, but
Exactly.
It's the fancy version of that.
You got flakes instead of dust.
Yeah, exactly. And then she got some kind of grilled fish of some variety, salmon, I think maybe. It was tasty, but like I was going in with a steak in my head, and then I had to change.
Okay, so this whole thing has kind of been running through my head about, you know, what were we going to talk about before we get like into the meat and potatoes of this episode, because this was going to be kind of a big one,
right?
And I was like, okay, there's really not been a whole lot that's been going on like since our last episode here. I mean, we've done the calm thing, that's been really, really awesome, and then like you say, Valentine's Day kind of came and went, and we really didn't do a whole lot for that. We still, you know, we have people that we take care of. The kid was around, so I mean, it was one of those things where Mom, I think, she's been up in at my brother's place for a while. But something I did do for myself a couple of weeks ago, and you know, I'm one of those people that if I see something and I want it and I don't grab it, I kick myself in the tail for like years, effectively. So the other day, I was walking around our big box store here in town and come across an amazing deal on a Blackstone griddle. Have you seen these things?
I don't even know what that is now.
So it's a 28-inch gas griddle, like a grill that you'd have outside, right?
Okay.
The food that you make on it is phenomenal. So the first thing I did with is what they call smash burgers, which is kind of,
I've had smash burger before. Okay.
So it's effectively, I made those at home and they were so good. Okay. So then after that, I decided, well, let's do some like sirloin tips with mushroom gravy, mushrooms, peppers and onions, and all that kind of stuff. Did all of that on it. Dude, it was just like coming from the restaurant.
Oh, nice.
So this coming weekend, I'm going to be doing hibachi chicken with fried rice, noodles, and vegetables and all of that kind of stuff, and shrimp. So I'll have to show this thing to you after we get finished here.
Okay.
Because it's impressive.
But you know, it only counts if you've got yum yum sauce.
I'm going to get yum yum sauce.
Oh, okay, well, you're in the gold then. All right.
So once I finally master this thing or get at least good with this thing, I've got you all have to come over because I can now feed like massive amount of people because I've got the workspace. Okay.
So does it just sit on your cooktop? Or
no, it's its own freestanding. It's actually the 28-inch griddle with on its the big rolling like you would see on a grill.
Okay.
It has 2 gas burners. And then, of course, the wing, like little shelves off to the side, and 2 doors underneath that opens up. I'll show it to you whenever we get finished. Okay. It's pretty awesome.
All right. Yeah, sounds fun. And you can tell by looking at me, I love to eat. So.
Oh, dude, I am all about it. And like I say, I'm really stoked about doing the hibachi chicken this weekend. It looks like it's like I watched the videos this morning, and I'm like, dude, I can do every bit of that. Like the whole video was 16 minutes long.
Right.
From beginning to end, 5 minutes of that was them taste testing and eating. They had their hibachi done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it don't take long.
It's so quick.
High heat, fast cooking.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
right on. Something else that I did, that does sound really good though.
So you guys are going to come and eat?
Yep. Well, I'll be here for sure. I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else. But.
Well, I mean, I can throw steaks on it. I can throw fish on it. I can throw shrimp on it. I can do. Okay. There's all kinds of stuff.
Right on. But yeah, something else I did was I helped the older daughter set up for her science class. She had to do a Rube Goldberg machine.
Oh, those are so cool.
And we got that set up. And because of all the COVID and this and that, normally they're supposed to work on it in groups. And then when you film the thing, everybody in the group has to be there. But because of COVID, the teacher gave. I was going to say
that would be kind of hard to do.
So she gave us some alternate leniencies. So as long as we could get everybody on a video chat and record everybody on the video chat, then that would suffice.
That's good.
So she set it up. It took. I was going to say, if I ever have to do something like this again, I looked it up online and I found there are dominoes that you can buy that are on like race car track kind of things.
Oh, yeah. So you can just flip them.
Yeah. You don't have to like set them up and line them up. And like they're just like when you start it, it's going to knock all of them down.
Right.
Guaranteed every time.
Right.
So if I ever have to do something like this again, F a bunch of dominoes. That's all I'm saying. Like, I will spend the $30 to buy this track system because, talk about frustrating, man. Oh, it was so frustrating because
But here's the thing. That makes you appreciate the people that do them that don't have the little track thing that much more, right?
I mean, yeah.
Because they set up like 3,000 dominoes to go, the length of whatever, and you're like, man, those guys have got some patience.
Yeah. He's like one wrong move, and it's just like, blah, 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 there they all go.
Yep.
You're like, son of a. But yeah, so we did the Rube. We used a Christmas wrapping paper tube as a ramp for a Hot Wheel car.
Nice.
That was our starting momentum.
Yeah.
And then that went down and crashed into the dominoes and knocked them over. And then the dominoes fell off of a platform and landed in a catch bucket. And the weight of that pulled a string that wrapped around a pulley and pulled a light switch up to turn on the light.
Nice.
So, I mean, it was a, 3-step, not a huge elaborate one, but it got us there.
Though, I mean,
and it was enough of a pain anyway. And I got to brag a little bit. I filmed each individual attempt.
Right.
Using her phone. And so she loves doing like pictures and painting and stuff like that. She's creative. She gets it from her mom.
Okay. Yeah.
So for her birthday this year, she got a new iPad, and I got her a couple of apps to do digital art creation. Like it's got the paintbrushes and the pencils and she can paint in there by hand. And I got her a couple of video editing apps because she plays around with TikTok and stuff like that. So, but I filmed all of the individual attempts, and then she just had like 7 or 8 little videos. And then she used her apps that she got to edit the whole thing together and put like title cards on it and stuff.
Nice.
And so I was really proud of her for that. Like, she did a really good job she was patient with the dominoes.
Yeah.
Because there were several times where she would sit one down and it would tipple and like the whole stack would go before we were ready. And she was getting frustrated, but she persevered, pushed through. And then
That's good.
The video editing, I was really impressed with. Like, she did a really good job getting all that set up. So,
dude, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Those hands-on projects like that for kids is, I mean, it's not just is it something that they're going to remember, but I mean, like you say, the whole pushing through,
right.
Overcoming obstacles, trial and error, because you said it took like multiple tries before.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, all of that, that is one of the most wonderful teaching tools that's out there, is that hands-on, it's the real deal.
And for just personally, it gave me a chance to do something with her.
Yeah.
It's not an opportunity I get a lot. Like, she's a teenager. From my own past, when I was a teenager, all you want to do is stay in your room and talk to your friends.
Right.
You don't want to hang out with the parents. They're lame.
Right.
So, I valued that time that I got to spend with her doing that.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And then one more big thing that we got to talk about, huge thing just happened. We had the American Hand Egg Finals.
The who?
The guys with the little egg-shaped thing, and they throw it, but they call it football.
Hand egg.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that sounded like all one word whenever you said the hand egg. I was like, what's hand egg? Hand egg. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had that little thing that happened.
Yeah. And it was, I think, one of our, I want to say, close to us local teams.
It's the closest team to us.
Yes. It was actually in the big game. So
yeah,
they didn't do all that well. I guess they did okay because
they did pretty well. Yeah. They had a lead for a long time.
Did they?
Yeah. They were in the lead for a long time. There was just one I don't know, whatever you call it, series.
One play?
No, it was like a series. It was like 14 plays.
Okay.
But they just could not stop the Rams. Like, they just kept getting first down. And it wasn't like a big bomb. Everybody expected this Super Bowl was just going to be bomb, 30-yard pass, 50-yard pass.
And it wasn't.
Never happened. Not a single time.
Everything was short and down in the mud, huh?
It was short plays, strong defense.
That's good. For the people that are watching the game, that's good, because I mean that's the ones that keep you on the edge of your seat.
And it did. But yeah, it came down second half. The Rams just put together a drive. It like I said, no big bombs, but just first down.
They found the fuel. They found the lane, and they had the fuel,
and they got it all the way to the end zone eventually. And then the Bengals just never. They couldn't get back. They had a chance to get back to field goal position, and I think they could have tied if they had, but they couldn't get close enough for a field goal attempt. So, yeah, but they tried, and I got to say, the biggest thing I always watch the Super Bowl for was the ads, and I wasn't too impressed with the ads this year. And one of them was like the lamest ad I've ever seen ever. Okay, it was literally, and I am not exaggerating, it was 30 seconds of a QR code bouncing around the screen.
What?
That was the entire ad. Do you know how much an ad costs for the Super Bowl?
They're millions.
$6.5 million for a 30-second ad. This company paid $6.5 million to bounce a QR code around your TV for 30 seconds.
Wow. I heard that.
It was the dumbest ad I've ever seen. I guess it worked because I'm talking about it, but still, it was the stupidest ad I've ever seen. It was just a QR code. Like the last 2 seconds, it popped up in the corner and said Coinbase.
So okay, I was gonna say, I'm not a football. I don't football guy.
I'll tell you what. This is I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this was my big thing for that day. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I said, dude, I can't wait. As soon as I get home, the wife, she's having some of her girlfriends over. They're all going to sit and watch the game. I'm going to go in the kitchen and fix them all a big bunch of snacks. And then I'm going to go downstairs and watch something good on TV. And I did.
I heard that.
Like when I got home, I almost themed it out, but I decided that was a little too over the top. But I made some real thick, meaty chili. Some of that Carol Shelby chili that you turned me on to.
Good stuff.
But I made it like super, super thick. I didn't quite follow the directions. Made some chili cheese dip and chili dogs.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I pat myself on the back. That turned out real nice. I almost themed it out to do Cincinnati style chili.
Yeah.
You know, the spaghetti.
Because of the Bengals being there and all that. Yeah.
But I decided that was a little too over the top. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No. You're good. No, I was, the whole, like I said, I'm not a football guy. I've never really have been. The last Super Bowl game that I watched was Raiders and Buffalo Bills back in the 90s. Like early 90s. It's been way, way back there.
That's been that. Yeah.
So, yeah. And that was only because like the guy that I was kind of hanging around with at the time, like some of my buddies, they were like, yeah, we're going to watch the Super Bowl. And I'm like, okay. And I was hanging out with them. And that was really, I didn't care about the game. There was lots of Doritos and Mountain Dew there. So I was cool with that.
Right on.
But this year, I've heard really good things, not just about the game itself, but I've heard good things about the halftime show.
That was a big deal this year for a lot of people.
It really was. So we had a good lineup, a good 90s hip hop lineup. So you got Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and then Kendrick Lamar.
I'm not sure who that is.
I'm not really sure who that is either. 50 Cent was there. Is that everyone? I think that's everyone.
I think that was everybody.
So,
I mean, that was all the big names. They had a bunch of dancers and big show, but that was the main.
That was the main performance. Yeah. So I saw like a meme like a day or two after that basically said something like along the lines of, "Dear Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, and Dre, 2022 needs to see this tour coming from a mom who is icing her back still after dancing so much, So I thought that was kind of funny, but from what I gather, it was a really good performance.
It was a solid performance. I enjoyed it. I was a little surprised. Eminem was the only one that had like any kind of a political.
Yeah.
Caught me off guard. I kind of thought Dre would
the knee.
Yeah, he came out on stage despite the NFL telling him do not do that.
Right.
He was kneeling when he opened up Lose Yourself.
Yep.
And I was surprised that Dre or Snoop didn't.
So the thing with Snoop as well, they said something about not wearing blue bandanas.
Right, because it's gang affiliation.
So from what I gather, he made his entire suit out of blue bandanas.
I didn't pay attention.
That his whole outfit was blue bandanas. That's what it was made of. So I think it was kind of a pushback just to the establishment in their own way without really being over the top.
Okay, fair enough. And something else I found out just today, a little while ago, actually, I did not know this, and it kind of makes sense for them, why they maybe would push back. The NFL doesn't pay them for those performances at all.
No, it's something that they just do as...
and as a matter of fact, the NFL doesn't pay for the show itself. So the backup dancers, the sets, the props...
all of that comes from the artists.
All of that is paid for by the artist.
Right.
Dr. Dre footed almost $7 million out of his own pocket to perform the halftime show.
That's the thing with the halftime show. That's a huge stage. You've got how many people watching, and there's a lot of hype around it. So, I mean, not only, I can see where it's a promotional move for them as well. And of course, these people are giants in the industry, so they don't really necessarily need to make that kind of a political or that kind of a promotional move. But still, I mean, it puts them back in the spotlight, and here we are talking about them, and it's been a week or so later,
But, okay, I'm sorry. They don't need the money, but for the NFL not to even pay for the set, and no reimbursement to the artists.
And they're not making money.
Right. It's not like the NFL's not making money. Hello, $6.5 million per 30-second commercial, which they aired probably 35 to 50 minutes of commercials.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that good at math, but
that's a bunch.
That's a whole lot of millions of dollars. So I think they could have afforded to give them a little something, at least pay for the set.
Yeah, they really could have. I mean, they really should, but I think I had heard that at some point over the years, but
Crazy.
I want to say maybe I heard that whenever they had the Janet malfunction.
Wardrobe malfunction?
Wardrobe malfunction. It seems like they had said something about, because of them not paying for blah, 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 any fines or anything that might have happened would go to the artist, not necessarily the NFL. So,
right on.
Anyway,
All right. So I just want to say another thing here is I'm glad that we started off with the singing bowl and kind of a special nod to relaxation and tranquility, because I think this thing right here that we're fixing to talk about is probably not going to be a great topic for my mental health.
I'm just going to say this is one of those where we've waded in the water for quite some time, and we're about to jump in. We're about to find the deep spots, I think.
All right, well, so I'll let you kick it off kind of.
Okay. So a couple of weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago, I was listening to the radio station and eating my breakfast when I started hearing all of this uproar about a specific podcaster and the platform that he is exclusively part of, and an artist leaving that platform because of some of the things that this podcaster has said, some very controversial things. Of course, we're talking about Joe Rogan, Neil Young, and Spotify.
Right.
And this is one of those things where as I was sitting there listening to this, I was like, okay, this is not important. This is good. This is a drop. This is a drop in the bucket, because we've heard of these kind of things so many times over the years and for so long now that it's almost, I'm almost desensitized to it. It's almost numbing. Right. But this specific situation has snowballed. And I was like, okay, after, that initial article that I heard, I was like, okay, that's no big deal. The next, a day or two later, I was like, wait a minute, there's more people that are jumping on the bandwagon here. This is not just a little thing. This is something big. And then I wrote you, I think, at this point, and was like, okay, we need to talk about this. This is something, have you heard about this or something? I don't even remember what I said, but I was like, this isn't a topic that it's bigger than just this right now. It's bigger than just Joe Rogan and Neil Young and Spotify. And like I said, we've walked through this a little bit over the years that we've been doing this now, because it's been a couple of years, 2 to 3 now that we've been doing this. But we've never really addressed it, like full on addressed it. So I think we need to shake it down now. And to do so, I don't think we're going to be able to hit it in one episode. This is probably going to be something we're going to have to talk about over the next 3 or 4, maybe even.
Yeah, it's going to take a few. Yeah, this definitely, we can't hammer all this out in one episode. And before we get too deep into a thing, real quick, some news. We are now over 2,000 downloads.
What?
Yeah.
Thank you, listeners. Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you, listeners. Give yourselves a pat on the back or a hand.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for the support. It makes us feel good to think that people give a crap.
Yeah.
So thank you. But yeah, we just rolled over 2,000 downloads a couple weeks ago, I think.
Sweet.
The last episode pushed us over. So
nice.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Thank you.
But yeah. So yeah, Joe Rogan, Spotify, Neil Young. And I got to say, honestly, when I heard the thing about Neil Young, I think I had pretty much the same reaction as Spotify did.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, whatever, old man.
Yeah.
But
you've got a heart of gold, bud. Go on. Old man, look at my... No.
But I found out something that kind of makes me understand why he feels so passionately about it.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about, in case you've been under a rock and you don't know, Joe Rogan is in a lot of hot water right now for spreading misinformation and disinformation about COVID-19 and encouraging people not to get vaccinated and not to wear masks. And that's causing a lot of stir and controversy. But I found out just recently that there's a very good reason why Neil Young came to Spotify and was like, him or me. He suffers from polio.
Oh, yeah.
And had he gotten the polio vaccine, he may not have the health issues that he has currently.
Right.
So he feels very strongly about
vaccinations.
About vaccination, yeah. So I didn't know any of that until just very recently. So
wow, yeah. I knew he's been a political figure.
Oh, yeah.
His entire life. Everything that he's ever done has been, political. So I didn't necessarily know that he had those issues, but I knew that, being an activist, his name didn't surprise me.
Right.
Whenever I heard, it's Neil Young that's saying this, I was like, okay, he's still making a stand even after all of these years, which, it's really cool. And he's been joined by others. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we want to start with where this all started. What was the issue, right?
Yeah, because to me, this whole thing with Joe Rogan and the controversy and the push back and forth is not the problem.
No.
This is a symptom of the problem. It's the most current populist recognition of the problem.
It's where the spotlight is shining this moment.
Yeah. I don't know how to, it's where everybody's looking right now. And it's kind of the highlight issue that points to the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this.
No, you're absolutely right. So the issue itself is bigger than just him. It's bigger than Neil Young. It's bigger than Spotify. It's bigger than all of this. And it is this spread of disinformation and misinformation, and it's across the board.
Right.
He is simply, like you say, he has said a few things, and he did a few things that drew a lot of ire from this one artist. And then suddenly it became a big deal because when Neil Young basically said, it's either him or me, Spotify has exclusive rights to Joe Rogan's podcast. They own that. It's their, I don't want to say they own that. That platform has the exclusive rights to him. So
you cannot listen to Joe Rogan anywhere else other than on Spotify.
Right. And then his YouTube channel, you get little clips, but it's only little clips, not the full episodes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to listen to Joe Rogan, you have to listen to him on Spotify. And then, of course, like you said, Spotify was like, okay, Neil Young, big deal. But it drew enough attention, and other people were like, this is not right, that people started dropping their subscriptions to Spotify over this.
Yeah.
And at that point, Spotify was like, you know what? This is hitting us where it hurts, which is the wallet. And it's what it's kind of all about.
It's what it's always been about.
Always. You find, follow the money, right?
Yeah.
So, like I say, he's the current symptom. Yeah. But we've seen this happen so many times. I mean, if you want to go all the way back to looking at people like Howard Stern, Rush Limbaugh, just these people that are over the top, and I don't want to say necessarily that are always spreading misinformation or disinformation, but are so extreme in what they're doing, they cause controversy, they cause a stir. And in this specific situation, it's becoming dangerous because of the misinformation and disinformation.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that anyone has died from it.
No.
But if people take his advice and don't get vaccinated and don't wear masks and don't protect themselves,
the possibility is there.
There is a possibility there that somebody could die.
All right. So
for following his advice.
Who is Joe Rogan, right? Do you know anything about the guy? Do you know much about him?
I know more about him right now than I ever have. But yeah, I mean, even before all this, I was a semi Joe Rogan fan. He's one of the main commentators for UFC.
Yep.
He's a stand-up comic. I know him in both of those worlds. He was on, he had his own TV show, Joe Rogan Questions Everything.
Yep.
Which gives me some insight that I will talk about later.
I don't listen to his podcast or anything like that.
And I have listened to some of his podcasts a few years ago.
Yeah.
Not lately.
Yeah. I had never listened to him, but I kept seeing pictures of him and I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere. And what I knew him from was Fear Factor. He was the host of Fear Factor.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's there. Like say stand-up comic and UFC and all of that kind of stuff. I think he's even had some like cameo appearances in movies and things like that.
Oh, yeah, loads. Yeah.
So yeah, he's a very popular dude, and he's been around. Like all of this has started. I want to say early 2000s, 2009. I think is whenever he was. He launched his podcast on Ustream. I think it was running since 2002. Before that on YouTube.
I have no idea.
So yeah, and then up to this point, like he's had all of these other endeavors, and he always goes back to the podcast because that's where the bread and butter is for him. That's the most popular thing he's done.
Well, I mean, he's also prolific. Like the reason I stopped listening to his podcast was because you couldn't listen to anything else if you were trying to listen to him.
Really?
He would put out 28 hours of podcast material every day. And you're like, how, Joe Rogan? How do you talk that much?
I mean, if you add in things like commercials.
No, this is just his talking.
I know.
Like, it's insane. Like legitimately, there were days where he would put out 8 hours of material. That's
insane.
Yeah, every day. Like there is no break. Every single day he puts out a podcast. And then sometimes if there was a UFC fight, he would have his regular podcast, and then he would do a podcast about the UFC fight, and then he would do a podcast with some of the fighters. I mean, so there was like some days where he would have like 3 podcasts in a day.
Dude is hardcore.
And, he's hardcore on everything. He's extreme fitness freak.
Yeah.
He himself is a fairly accomplished UFC fighter, or not UFC, sorry.
I was going to say MMA fighter. What I've seen, he said he was always into martial arts, but he never really went in the ring much.
Yeah. No,
he's maybe like exhibition fights or something.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever done like a card fight on a big promotion.
Yeah.
But I said UFC, I meant MMA fighter.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He has fought, but not like a big deal fight.
Right.
And he trains a lot with pro fighters. Like
I
George,
wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley and try to mug him.
no, like George St. Pierre had Joe Rogan come to one of his training camps to show him how to do a certain kind of kick.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, UFC middleweight or welterweight. I don't remember, but like 4-time champion George St. Pierre said, "Hey Joe, can you come up and show me how to do this kick because you're the best at it?"
That's awesome.
I mean, when you got a world champion telling you that you're the best, he's not a slouch.
No.
But
and the thing is too, because of his work ethic and how hardcore he goes at everything, he draws people to him. I mean, he has had some huge people that's on his his podcast. I mean, they'll sit down across from him, and he's had Elon Musk. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson's been on there. Jay Leno's been on there. Yeah. And then he also, unfortunately, draws in some of the fringe, Alex Joneses of the world and things like that as well.
I think he actually had Alex Jones on a few times. And that's kind of, I think, where honestly, I think that's where the hill began for him. The slippery slope began. No. He has always had a tendency towards the extreme in everything. And like his work ethic, he's one of those people that is obsessive.
Okay.
Like, and that I think it's just his personality. And I think it's this, and if you go back and look at his career, you can see a progression, a slow, steady progression of extremism. Like it's
there.
It's always been there. It's just getting more and more pronounced.
Okay. That's fair enough.
But what leads to people being this way? Like how do people become so extreme in their beliefs, one way or the other?
Entrenched.
Yeah. How do we get into these polar opposite, deadlocked, death or life struggles over what's better, chocolate or vanilla? Like,
it's no longer just my opinion and your opinion. This is the way it is.
Right. If you disagree with me,
you're wrong.
You're wrong, and you don't deserve to breathe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. So where do we get?
How do we get to that point?
What leads us to these types of opposing viewpoints being held so strongly? And I think it boils down to a few different major phenomena that have happened. And I would say, even to put a timeline on it, I would say most of this has occurred within probably the last 30 years.
And you know what? You're absolutely right.
If somewhere in that time frame, I would say it started in about the late 80s to early 90s is where it all kicked off.
You're right.
And it's been it's like Rogan's career, it has been progressively worse since then.
Yes.
And there have been moments of rapid acceleration in this, and then moments where it has slowed down. But I think it's been pretty steadily worsening since about that time frame.
I watched an interesting documentary. This has been a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that, right around Christmas break, New Year's, something like that. And it was the documentary was like a 4 or 5 part series called 1989, the year that changed everything. And
I haven't seen this documentary. That was just my own personal pulling of a time frame out. Right.
You are dead on. And what it is you have things like the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Right.
You have the or the accelerated dispersal of people being able to access the internet and share information more freely. You have the cultural change on television going from scripted and how should I say this? We go from scripted to more reality-based television with things like Maury Povich and Jerry Springer and these people.
Right.
And you have the .com boom, which punches a bunch of money into a lot of places that it didn't have before. So there was a lot of things that just took place 89 through pretty much 99 that set the stage for things like where we are now. Right. And you're right. I mean, you were absolutely right when you say the last 30 years. There are studies being done now that they're looking at how we interpret a generation and a culture and a time, a specific time period, because we no longer have this linear track of time that we are looking at, where we have to say, okay, if I wanted to go back and look at the 50s, I have to go backward. Now they're saying it's more like this field that has everything, and we just can pluck what we want, when we want, how we want. And it's changing the way we look at everything, because we no longer have this linear thing where where we're traveling along it. We are now just part of it as everything. It's interesting. It's a very interesting theory that's out there. But anyway,
sounds like an episode of Doctor Who with where he says wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, it's what it's done is it's created a vortex, and at the center of that is, I mean, all of this darkness that is spreading.
Right. So there are a few things, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but to me, some of the biggest things that have led to where we are today, basically can boil down to one entity known as the internet.
Yes.
It was supposed to be this great hope for the world. It's supposed to give humanity the ability for anyone, anywhere, at any time to access all of human knowledge openly and freely.
Yes. To
be able to, that's been the speech for hundreds of years is, to oppress a people, you have to keep them ignorant.
Yeah.
So education and information is the way to enlighten people and open them up and bring them to power,
and the
individual power.
And the internet was supposed to be that source.
The internet was supposed to be the vehicle that drove us to everyone on an equal footing with the knowledge, with the power to make educated, informed decisions. That was the tech optimists' theory. And I am a tech optimist. Like, I'm not one of those people that typically looks at something and thinks about how it can be abused to harm people. Like, I don't think when Tim Berners-Lee invented the internet, right? That's the guy that kind of developed the backbone of the technology. I don't think he thought about how the internet could be abused to harm people. He was thinking about this great way to share information, to bring knowledge to the masses, to share and open humanity. It just didn't happen. Well, it did happen, but that's the problem.
It was like a candle in the wind, literally. It was one of those things that there was light, and then the wind became so strong and so big that, I mean, the information was out there and it was being pushed, but there was so much other stuff.
I think that's what that's what I was trying. Maybe it's an equal access to all information.
Good, bad, indifferent.
Right. The internet doesn't care. It doesn't vet.
No.
It doesn't certify. It doesn't fact check.
Nope.
It just serves up the information.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It's an access point.
Right. And I think that's part of the problem, and why I say in the last 30 years is because of the internet. Like, one of the biggest things before that is if you wanted to know something, chances are you got your information from just a few sources. It was either the nightly news on TV, which there were basically three channels in the whole country.
ABC, NBC, CBS.
You had Tom Brokaw, Peter Jennings, and guys like that. Howard Cosell, right? When he a big dude. I don't know.
Walter
Cronkite.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite.
Yeah. That's where everybody got your news. Everybody had one or two sources of information.
Yeah.
So you had a shared base of knowledge.
And the way it was delivered was different as well.
Right. Everything. Well, okay. So that's TV. If you want print, you had like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the San Francisco Chronicle.
Or your local paper.
Right. And again, it's the same principle applies to all of these, is that any information released on those media, whether it be print or television or whatever, that information has to be vetted. Somebody has to go and make sure that that information is correct and accurate. They can't just say whatever they want to say just to say it. Somebody has to fact check and make sure that what they are claiming is true. That's not the case anymore.
Not even close.
That's just, there is no...
Case in point, this right here.
Right.
We could say anything we want.
Yeah. Yeah. I could say that the sky is purple.
We can push any idea that we want.
Right.
No one is standing behind me getting ready to smack me in the back of the head because I've said something that is not true.
Right. There is no filter between my mouth and whoever downloads this and listens ears.
Right.
There is no arbiter between there that's going to listen to this first and say, well, that's not true. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Whatever I say, anybody that wants to listen to me and go find my podcast can listen.
And they can believe or disbelieve anything you say.
Right. It's up to the individual person. There is no editor.
Right.
There is no fact check department. There's not that person in between. So I think that's the core. I think that is the central core, is this open access to all information with no arbiter. There's no fact checking, nothing. It's just, here's the information. Yeah. It's up to you to figure out if it's accurate or inaccurate. I think that is the core. At the center of it, that's where everything else in here stems from. And we got a few. So one of the first things to me, I guess, would be that really accelerated this recently would be a twofold kind of a problem. It's social media with various companies and organizations.
Right.
And mostly it's when those groups, those companies decided to start allowing computer programs to organize their content automatically.
Right. At that point, you go from having all of this information out there that you can go out and gather and you physically have to search for. It now is becoming spoon-fed to you because you have clicked and stayed or looked at this specific link or this video for X number of minutes. So it goes, ooh, you like this.
Right.
Now, let me tell you, there's 7 others over here that are similar. Let's see if you like those as well.
Right.
And then you start clicking through those and they go, oh, you like those as well, whether you do or not. And then suddenly you have, each one of them has 30 more that they, so you start down this spiral. And instead of getting smaller, it gets larger.
Yeah.
So you start small and you get bigger with this information that's out there. It's crazy. And they're basically feeding you what you want.
It's what they think you want. And here's the problem. So these computer decisions that are being made by a small type of programming, a small type of machine learning. It's commonly referred to as an algorithm. So if you've heard that word, that's what that is. An algorithm is a piece of computer code designed to make decisions. So there's an example of a thought experiment like what we do kind of with the pig that wants to be eaten. there's this thought experiment called the paperclip maximizer. Okay, it's not a real thing. It's just a thought experiment. And it talks about what a computer program, or what they call an artificial general intelligence, or AI. Most people would commonly call it AI, like a true AI, a general intelligence. It's able to make its own decisions based on various stimulus. It's not like a lot of AI, like in your phone. AI is not a true general intelligence. It's an artificial intelligence that's been designed with one very specific task, and that's all it can do. So the paperclip maximizer is basically a thought experiment where they design and build this computer operated machine that is told to make the most number of paperclips in the universe. Like that's all its whole goal is to just make paperclips.
Which seems so innocent.
Right.
Just
it's just going to make paperclips.
Nothing at all.
But the problem is it's how it shows how a entity, this artificial general intelligence, optimizes without sharing the mix of human values that we would naturally assume anything that we develop would have. So it doesn't have those pressures for our thought processes, and hasn't been specifically programmed to be kind to humans. So if its only goal is to make the most number of paperclips it can, it's going to be just as dangerous as if it was designed to actually kill people, because it will take every resource on the planet and use it to make paperclips. We won't have food. We won't have water. We won't have anything. This thing is going to make the most number of paperclips it can. And that's the problem when a lot of these companies like Facebook and YouTube are the two biggest examples. They're the two probably most influential companies. I don't know if you were on early enough, but I was on Facebook early enough that I can remember when your timeline only consisted of the people you directly followed, and the things that they posted in chronological order.
Absolutely, I remember that.
So if it was just that, and that's all it was. It was the people I followed posted in chronological order. So if I wanted to find something that Mr. Ham posted yesterday, I had to scroll down through everything that was posted today and find yesterday stuff. And then I could find Mr. Ham's post.
That's not the way it is today.
That's not the way it is today, because they decided to go with an algorithmic based news feed. And they have found that people will stay on the site longer under certain conditions. And they have programmed this algorithm to meet
those conditions,
regardless of what the harm is to the users. Again, we'll go into all this stuff in great detail later. But that's the first big thing, is algorithmic decision making, specifically, typically speaking, on social media platforms.
Right.
What these companies want is to make money. How they make money is by keeping you on their website. How they keep you on your website is interesting you in their content. One of the biggest ways to get people to stay is through outrage. So they will continually express to you content that outrages you so that you will stay engaged longer on their site.
Yep. It's crazy.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
So algorithms have pushed extremism.
Yeah.
That's what they do, because their only goal is engagement. It doesn't care that it's destroying the fabric of our country, the fabric of our society, not just our country, the fabric of our societies globally. Doesn't care. As long as people are on that website, clicking those links, that's all it cares about.
Happy.
It's happy. That's one of the biggest things. Now, those algorithms have led us into other things, such as like echo chambers and confirmation bias.
Yes. So once you are in this feed, effectively in one of your social medias, and you've clicked something, these echo chambers that he just mentioned are going to start feeding you various, pages or other links that's going to enhance what you believe. You say, okay, I believe, say, the sky is blue. And then it says, well, it's a shade of blue specific. And then it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going until eventually everything around you is telling you this one thing, whether it's true or whether it's not. So these echo chambers do this. They are personalized based on your specific clicks and what you do. Now, the bad thing, of course, about an echo chamber is it limits how your exposure to other things, especially things that are not necessarily something that you agree with, other people's opinions, something that might change your view. So it limits that exposure. And that can be extremely bad, especially considering that, these echo chambers are designed specifically to keep you on that platform even longer.
Right. If you're in an echo chamber, all you're going to hear is your own echo.
That's right.
So you're only going to hear the things you're saying.
Yeah. I love this. Like the first definition of an echo chamber is an enclosed space where sound reverberates. That's all it is. It's you're hearing the same thing over and over. It's your own
right.
your beliefs, right? The second one is an environment in which a person encounters only beliefs or opinions that coincide with their own, so that their existing views are reinforced and alternative ideas are not even considered.
Right. And that's the one we're interested in.
That's
for
the
our
one.
topics.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the echo chambers are something that happen in these algorithms simply because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to throw more things that you like at you.
Right. And it pushes you further into a stronger holding of that belief because all you're seeing and hearing is the same thing.
That is where you get this confirmation bias.
Right. And that's where that starts coming in.
Yeah. So then eventually that echo chamber becomes confirmation bias. No longer are you clicking on these links and they're saying, oh, okay, yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. At this point, now you are being told that this information not only is something that you agree with, but it is absolutely true. It's confirming what you believe, whether that is true or whether it is not.
Right. And now I'm going to read the definition of a confirmation bias because I did bring this up last episode or a couple episodes ago talking about confirmation bias and the way people search for things, right? So a confirmation bias is your tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms your prior beliefs and values. So not only is it just a reinforcement of your beliefs, you begin to subconsciously even when, like I said before, when you're Google searching, you don't Google search, facts about COVID. You Google search, so you won't Google search like facts about vaccines. You'll Google search,
will the vaccine cause infertility?
Yeah. Does COVID vaccine cause infertility? Does COVID vaccine do this? Those are specific.
Those are confirmation biases that are built into your search.
Right. Those are biases built into your search that you don't even realize, because when you search for something like that, Google is going to find results that mention what you're searching for. So if you're asking, does this cause infertility? It's going to find results that say infertility.
Yeah.
So it's gonna confirm your bias towards the fact that the vaccines are harmful just based on the way you searched. And I think this is one of the most devious of the things that happens, because you don't even realize sometimes people, I'm not talking negatively about anybody. I have done this. I have not been aware of my own bias influencing the information I'm receiving.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not slamming anybody for this. Like it can happen to everyone.
And does. Not can. It does happen to everyone.
Yeah, it will happen to everyone. But I'm like it's just one of those things, and again,
here's the thing too. Okay, so to consciously know that this is happening, it is a mental exercise to try to remove that bias.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, big time, because, and I don't even want to say you almost have to search for the opposite of what you're looking for. You have to get to the basic structure of what the information is, which is it's hard to do. It is very hard to do.
Right. So one of the things I want to read. This is from the confirmation bias thing, and I think it says it well, probably better than I can in my own words. People display these bias when they select information that supports their views, ignore contrary information, or when they interpret ambiguous evidence as supporting to their beliefs. It is strongest for desired outcomes for emotionally charged issues or deeply entrenched beliefs. You cannot entirely eliminate confirmation bias, but you can manage by education, training, and critical thinking skills. So, I mean, that right there says it. Like, you cannot eliminate confirmation bias as hard as you want to try. It's there. It's part of human nature. But it takes it takes hard work. It takes education. It takes training yourself, and you have to constantly apply critical thinking everywhere. And that is hard. It's very hard.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And what makes that so hard is a lot of times the information that is being fed to us.
Right.
When we have made those searches, once we have been in our echo chamber, once we have confirmation bias that we've stuck in Google and searched, now we have results. And we have to be able to look at those results and determine, is this fact, is it not? Whether or not it is something that we see and we know that it's true and we agree with it, or it is something that we see and it disproves something that we believe. And at that point, it's one of the hardest things, I guess, for people to do is to look in and go, okay, I was wrong there, and move on and with new information and change an outlook or change the way that you think. And unfortunately, because the internet is such a vast landscape and has all of this information that's out there, and there is no arbiter and there's no filter and there's no fact checker that's out there, there's information out there that is, 1, true, 2, fact checked, and then there's things like misinformation. Right. Or disinformation. And there's a difference between these two. Right, I mean, there's a big difference between these two. First and foremost, when you're looking at information, make sure it comes from a credible source. And we'll talk about credible sources at a later date. We'll talk about, what types of information is out there, the sources, and how to determine whether or not they are credible or whether they're not. But when you're out there looking at it, there should be some red flags that goes up for anyone that looks at information, specifically something that's what we see in mainstream media or social media, and what would possibly be controversial or something that is political, specifically something that's political. These kinds of things, you almost know that there's going to be misinformation or disinformation out there because people are in those ruts. They're entrenched, and those beliefs are being put out there without the filter. So let's talk a little bit about what these two things are. Misinformation. What is it? False information that is spread regardless of intent to mislead. That's the definition of misinformation. Right. Now, that means that the information that's out there is just wrong. They're not necessarily saying that this is something that we want to use against someone, or we're not trying to mislead you.
Right.
It's just wrong.
And there have been times when I have been a source of misinformation.
I think everyone has.
That's when you think something and you tell somebody else, like, hey, just an example. This isn't true, but just saying, like, you know, hey, did you hear that Samuel Jackson died?
Yeah, I mean, no. I go, wait a minute. No, he's fine. I think your TMZ got that wrong, or
Right.
you know, whoever.
But I have said things like that in the past, thinking that I had heard the news.
I'll tell you,
telling somebody,
you want to know the one that I thought was wrong, the most recently.
Yeah, what's that?
Betty White. Betty White. Whenever I heard that, my wife called me and she goes, I just heard Betty White died. And I was like, nah, that's not right. I was like, she's got a 100th birthday that's coming up in just like a few days. So, no, that's wrong. Don't worry. That's not right. So what did I do immediately? I got on Google and I searched Betty White died. What come up? A couple of, I can think Variety and TMZ. And I was like, yeah, I don't really know if I want to put much stock in those because those guys have been wrong before. And then I was like, well, okay, let me turn on my media source, which was one of the major outlets, major news networks. And I sat there and let it just play. I wasn't really paying all that much attention to it, but it took nearly an hour and a half before they actually said, okay, we wanted to make sure this was correct before we broadcast this. So they fact checked.
Exactly.
They fact checked and they go, okay, we have terrible news. And, you know, and I was like, oh, crap.
Right.
So, you know, this is one of those things. Misinformation does get out there.
Right. And I'm just saying, I have been a source of misinformation. Misinformation doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You could be mistaken.
Yeah, it's not. There's no harm that is intended.
It's done with regardless of intent, which means you could make a false statement, not knowing it was a false statement. You have no intent. It's still misinformation. You are still spreading information that is not accurate.
Right, and that's all it is. It's just inaccurate information.
That's all it is. That's all misinformation is. Okay.
And it does. I mean, it's out there. Okay, so unfortunately, there's also disinformation, which is false information, and it is specifically and deliberately misleading or biased information. It's a manipulated narrative of facts. It's a good word that I see on here is propaganda. It's something basically that strengthens a belief or a fact, and I'm air quoting, you guys can't see me, a fact, with the intent to make the audience believe it and the people that are, I shouldn't say the people, but we know that it's not true or that it isn't, you know, I don't even know. I'm stumbling over my words here.
Okay. So disinformation is largely credited to Joseph Stalin. The word disinformation. I don't know about the practice, but the word is largely credited to Joseph Stalin, and it was a tactic of his to deliberately spread false information about political rivals to hold himself in power. And he had a special sorry, I'm trying to find it right. Okay. And I apologize to the one person I know who probably doesn't listen to this podcast, but speaks Russian. It is often believed to be a loan translation of the Russian desinformatsiya.
Desinformatsiya.
It's derived from the title of a KGB black propaganda department. A defector from Stalin-era Russia claimed that Joseph Stalin himself coined the term and deliberately gave it a French-sounding name so that he could claim that it was a Western origin. And they began to use this type of tactic with Special Disinformation Office in 1923. And and the word disinformation was defined in the Great Soviet Encyclopedia in 1952 as false information with the intention to deceive public opinion.
So that says it all right there.
That's all of it right there.
I mean, right there, that quote, false information with the intent to deceive public opinion.
Right.
That is, the source knows it's false.
Right.
They are spewing it. They're putting it out there, knowing that they are deceiving someone.
Right.
And swaying the belief in their favor or in the favor of their ideas.
Exactly.
So misinformation and disinformation are out there in spades.
Well, yeah, and they're two different types of thing, but they're both the same thing. They're both false or incorrect information.
Yes.
It's just one of them is unknowingly or unwittingly shared, and the other one is deliberately created with the intent to mislead.
Yes.
So it's that's what it is.
And unfortunately, because we have been able to access all of this information, and because we're able to share information freely now, and have been now for the last 25 plus years, I should say, because realistically, I want to say it was with the advent of AOL. That was whenever the America got its hands wrapped around access to the internet. And at that point, we really started being able to share our ideas. So for the past 25 years, we have had all of this information that has been being dumped into this giant bucket. And no one has gone through and weeded out what's bad information or misinformation or disinformation. And that's fine. That's it's out there. Okay. I don't think someone should, honestly, because again, who am I to say what you should believe or the information that you should have access to? I think it should be a responsible thing that people do.
It's one of the things we're going to get into.
Exactly.
I disagree a little bit there.
You think it should be policed a little bit?
I mean, okay, so, all right, First Amendment guarantees freedom of speech from oppression by the government.
Right.
By the government, people. Okay? The federal government cannot inhibit your ability to speak.
Right.
Okay. Government. All right. Now, there are exceptions to the First Amendment.
Yes.
You can't go into a crowded theater and shout fire.
No. Because it can cause harm to others.
Because it can cause harm to others.
Yeah.
Just like in certain situations, also, I think
libel and
libel speech.
Yep.
Written as slander.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
But also, I feel like, if you're going around telling people that vaccines are dangerous, don't get vaccinated, you're young and strong and virile, you don't need it, that's a danger to people.
Yeah, because, you're right.
We'll get into all that later. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to interests of public health and safety, I think our government could stand to have a slightly larger role.
Okay. I think we can go with that.
But those are the problems, right? And I know you guys are probably thinking, wow, you droned on about that forever. But believe me, we're just scratching the surface here.
Yes.
Our next 2-3 episodes, maybe 4 episodes, we're going to take a deep dive into these things that we've laid out to get to the bottom of why we're at a place where somebody like Joe Rogan is the center of all national media.
Yeah.
So hopefully you stay tuned with us. Hopefully you give us a listen for the next few episodes. Hopefully somebody will actually reach out and talk to us on one of the various multitude of platforms that we're on, such as Facebook. You could give us a holler on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/twomindspodcast.
You can always find this episode and all of our other episodes on our host site, twomindspodbean.com. And of course, we have mirror sites, Spotify. You need to search Jason Claywell or Jeremy Ham in parentheses, and other
quotation marks.
I'm sorry. Yeah. In quotation marks. Or you can search whichever podcast supplier,
podcatcher of choice.
Yeah, right. Your podcatcher of choice.
Also, if you want to talk to us but don't want to do so publicly, shoot us an email, twomindspodcast@gmail.com. And that's always monitored. Yeah. You can also tweet at us on the Twitter machine at twomindspodcast. We're available there as well.
And this episode and all of our other episodes have been dropped on Facebook. We always put links to it on Facebook.
Right.
You know, if you want to shoot us just a quick comment or a message underneath that you want to share publicly, go for it. I mean, we would love to hear those or see those.
Yeah, you can. And yeah, you can. If you want to talk just about that episode, go to that episode's post on Facebook and give us a comment there. You can also do it on our hosting site, Podbean.
Yeah.
You can go there and there's a comment section under each episode if you want to drop a comment there.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you don't want to do it publicly, DM us on Twitter, shoot us an email.
Yeah.
However you want to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. So awesome, dude. Man, we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, it's going to be a long series coming up, I think. Hopefully we do a good job with it. Like, this is the kind of stuff I like sitting and talking and BSing with these kind of